let's go back to the beginning. I just read that your father was a tour bus driver.
My stepfather at the time. Yeah, he
So
was a tour bus driver.
we all have our like introduction to the music industry, that moment that makes us fall in love with music, the fast pace, the movement. You met Beyonce's and Nelly's. Tell me about that time, the overall experience, and how it inspired you to like pursue music.
Absolutely. Going on tour with my stepfather at an early age really gave me a different perspective of life, in a
Right.
sense of traveling and seeing different parts of the world and seeing how much fun the artists were having on tour, living their dreams and, just showcasing their talent. I had already been kind of jotting down poetry and rhymes. And once I was lucky enough to be a young teen, about 12, 13, and became very, very close to like Nelly and Beyonce. And they really brought me in on the process of the tour as like the young kid that was running around, just so
Mm-hmm.
starstruck over everything.
Yeah.
And it really gave me a sense of what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to see the world, inspire people, just the look on the fans when they hit the stage, in different cities every night.
Right.
It was just amazing to witness and amazing to be a part of. And that was the start of my journey of through hip hop and learning how to navigate through this world.
That's a unique one. You know what I'm saying? On the
Yeah.
tour bus with the Beyoncés and the Nellys. Did you have that 360 moment yet where like Beyonce, Nelly, or somebody that was on the tour, they were like, yo, I remember you. You were on the
I
tour
haven't
bus.
had that 360 moment yet, but I'm so looking forward to it because of like particularly with like Nelly, like we did so much. And I know if he sees me now, if he meets me, he won't see that young kid unless I show him like, hey, do you remember these pictures, these moments? And I know it would click for sure because we
Right.
spent months and months and months together. So I'm looking forward to that 360 moment for sure.
For sure. They're the greatest. They are the greatest. Now tell me about the first freestyle or the song. You know, you're writing poems, just getting, a season to the music industry and whatnot. What was that first freestyle or song that you released that really solidified the space in the start of your journey? Like that was really like, yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a rapper. And who were you at the time? You know what I'm saying? What was that content about?
My content beginning was more about my struggles and trials and tribulations growing up. As a young kid, I didn't realize my problems were so minuscule
Right.
compared to being an adult. But I definitely utilized music as a therapy and
Hmm.
as an art form to express myself in a less dangerous way than I normally was accustomed to with my surroundings. So for me, that really, really, really helped me in staying out of trouble and focusing on my craft opposed to letting out my frustrations and anger in other ways.
Yeah.
What really led me to say I really want to do this was when I kind of accumulated enough songs to just kind of put them all on a CD and just play it for people. And then people would like ask me for copies, and I started burning copies and
Right.
giving them out. Next thing you know, I got like 10 mixtapes out there. I'm like, I'm blowing up. You know
Right.
what I mean?
They know my song. My homie know
Yeah.
my
So
song.
I think it was that first time I went on stage and I did up my first live performance. And I was just like, it was just that adrenaline of
Hmm.
rush that I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And already seeing the grand picture of it
Yep.
going on tour, it really allowed me to focus in the beginning, knowing what my end goal and what it could possibly be. And I think
Absolutely.
that led me to continuously working hard because I got a taste of what it could be. And
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted that again. So, it really, really played a big part in my journey.
Okay, so you dropped that, you're going to the shows, and then in 2011, 2012, you decide to make that move to Atlanta to pursue music,
Yes.
just to like grow your audience. So tell me about that transition, which I always tell everybody is the greatest transition to leave where you're comfortable and familiar with to go somewhere else to really develop and grow. Talk about that transition at Atlanta. Trap music is bubbling at the time, and what did you learn from that move that like you wouldn't move from staying in Rhode Island or even moving to LA or New York, where a lot of people are like, that's where I got to be to make music. What did you learn from Atlanta?
When I went down to Atlanta, it was more about just the bigger market. At that time, it was becoming the mecca of music. Not as much as LA, but LA is completely opposite side of the country.
Right.
And for me, Atlanta was a little bit closer, you know, not as close as New York, because New York is still like very familiar. It still felt like I was home
That's
when
the
I was in New
weekends.
York. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So once I went to Atlanta, it was really a risk of knowing that my music was going to be different than what was popular at the moment. It
Hmm.
was really a gamble. I could have went down there and it could have really backfired on me, where they did not want to hear my style of music, or
Yeah.
even, you know, get out of here, go back to New York where you came from type of
Right.
vibe. But I think that our universal appeal and ability to adjust, and showcase our talent during the shows really, really allowed us to turn up with that turn up, but in our
Definitely.
own way, with messages and with music that, you know, really had messages in it. And we really were successful in Atlanta. And I really tell everybody, like, you have to jump off the cliff. And
Right.
and what I mean by that is we were selling out Ultra every Thursday night when we was
Ultra,
there.
it's
We were
lit.
doing, three different nights a week in Rhode Island, where we were selling out concerts. And I could have stayed there and been the man, so to
Right.
speak, in my local area. But I just saw the future of no growth and continuously being in that cycle. So I said, you know, if I really want to do this and make this a career, I got to jump off the cliff. Going to Atlanta, figuring it out was the way that I felt like I needed to do.
Right. And I feel like, you said that you moved there in less than 2 weeks, you were already making moves. You're already doing, sold out concerts with big names. So it definitely like solidified your move, put the quality or the substance that you would get from that, transition, and kept you going, kept you moving, sent you to the next level. Man, you've been doing this for a long time, and uh I I appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure you appreciate the whole journey. On your track, it's real, you say, and when something isn't working, it's not in your purpose. So you've been on the journey for a while. And when you get so many no's, so many doors shut, you start to realize, like, yo, these no's and these doors that are closing are more solidified in my journey. You feel me? Like, it's a literal domino effect. I tell everybody, every no, every yes, every support, every retweet, it literally is energy that's going towards your journey. When you first started the journey, you wanted that major label. Everybody goes into the game like, I need that major label. Let's cash out. Let's push the music. Obviously, that has changed over the journey, and now you really, really appreciate the independency of being an artist. So tell me about that new perspective. When did it hit? I know you've had a few deals on the table where you had to make that decision and be like, am I going to sell out and be a dude from New York that puts out music, or am I going to keep it to what I want and, keep it, flawless, real talk all the way? Tell me about those moments in that change in perspective.
I think early on in my career, being very, very, very knowledgeable of royalties, being very knowledgeable of publishing, being very
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable of what I was protecting early on gave me an advantage in the future, because we've never been opposed to a major label deal. We've never been opposed to partnering with a major label, but we have a standard that needs to be met.
Right.
And sometimes to major labels, our standard is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only way that it's possible for us.
Right.
You understand? So for
Absolutely.
me, I was never afraid of the journey. So I would always say, okay, if it's a no now, I'll see you in a year and we'll talk again.
Right.
Because it was always a thing of more growth. And, because what I'm asking for are top of the top things that normally somebody who only has 10,000 followers, in a
Right.
sense, they're like, who is this kid coming in saying he wants this, this, and this, and this, and this? But those are my terms. They're non-negotiable. So I was
Absolutely.
never afraid of walking away from a deal, because I knew exactly, okay, what's it going to take for me to make this move? There's nothing else to talk about. If this isn't possible, then I'm going to go grind some more,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll see you guys when it is possible.
Right.
So when we became more successful and we started getting those rounds again and taking those meetings, I think this was way before Rhythm and Flow. This was about 2016.
Okay.
The transition shifted from people actually downloading music to streaming music.
Right.
And I had sold about 200 copies of an album that I released that I had really been pushing.
Which
And
album was it at the time?
it was called It's Different.
Yep.
And it was, and I didn't understand why the sound scan was coming so low. But we debuted number 23 on the iTunes because of the streaming.
Mm.
And I said, hold up. I need to stay independent because the game just shifted.
Right.
Because when we're selling CDs out of our trunk, when we're selling CDs off of our website, you can love my CD as much as you want, and you can play it the entire year for me.
Over and over again.
But I only received those $10 that you pay for the CD. With streaming, every time you play my music, you're supporting me in a different way.
Right.
It's residual income. So I knew once that format became prominent in the industry, I could survive off of a loyal fan base that I can build myself.
Right.
So then it became a matter of how famous do you want to be versus how much do you want to own and how much of a legacy do you want to build? Because fame will come. The label can bring you more fame.
Right.
Not necessarily more money, because now you're splitting the money into 100 pieces. Trust me. So it's not necessarily more money, but it's more visibility.
More visibility, exposure, push.
It's really about money and what you want to build versus fame and you know, exposure and
absolutely.
And I never was interested in that. And I'm going to tell you why really quick. My independence in touring and continuing to tour led me to become famous in particular areas.
Right.
So for example, I could walk around Providence Place Mall, and because this is home, nobody even makes a squeak. But if I'm in Milwaukee or Minnesota, the girls are crying at KFC when I walk in. So I said, okay, I can independently tour. I can build this. I felt what fame was like in particular areas. So having that taste of fame, I said, I wasn't a fan of it. I said, this isn't going to satisfy me. This is not going to feed my family. This is just attention.
Right.
So I'm going to stay independent and build something that's going to feed my family for life. And that's why I'm so great. And now it's cool to be independent. So,
everyone's like, I'm independent.
Yeah, I was independent when it wasn't cool, you know? It's all right. But all those no's was just God just telling me to just hold on, continue to work hard. And it was going to be beneficial for me later on in life.
Right. I feel like the game's fucked up right now where everybody wants attention and fame and retweets and bites and all of that stuff. But, you know, it's fucked up because fame has been a byproduct of success. If you're successful and, you know, you're really doing what you're supposed to be doing with your content, fame is the byproduct on top of, you know, being able to, you know, keep it genuine and real, authentic to who you are, making that connection and being able to provide. Then the fame comes after. And I feel like that's where a lot of people got it fucked up, you know, but you know,
and if you see a lot of people, a lot of artists, the one thing I was most scared of, I never wanted to be the famous guy that was broke and had to get a job. And then now it's like, hey, aren't you that guy from... And now you're working, you know, like that was always a fear for me. So it's like, I'd rather build a legacy than be famous and not be sure about where my legacy is, you know?
Absolutely. And it all works out. It's working out for you 10 times over. Absolutely. 10 times over. Yeah. Now, when we talk about those no's and those 360 moments, what I found is there's a legit moments where it's like, damn, that no that I had 2 years ago is now my secret weapon with this opportunity, because they said no there, that no connected me to this person and that person, and now I'm doing this and it makes absolute sense. You feel me? I know one of those moments for you was not the most recent hip hop cypher, but the first go around, and how that kind of like led you to the Netflix Rhythm and Flow. Tell me about whether it is, you know, that first, I think it was the 2018 hip hop cypher, whether it's that or another moment that really, really solidified, like, damn, that no just turned into my fucking 110,000% yes years later. Tell me about one of those moments.
So 2010, I had entered a BET contest to win a spot in the BET Cypher.
Okay.
and we went all out. So I did a huge freestyle on the beat. I did a high quality video. I invested money on like World Star to get it posted on World Star. So it was going crazy. We end up in the finals. I had set up, I can't remember what the bar was, but I set a particular line that promoted something that like went against the guidelines. So
Okay.
they disqualified me in the final 3.
Damn.
So when the Cypher aired, it was like Joe, like this at the time, Nicki Minaj had just came out and she was on fire. And the Cypher that the winner ended up on was with like Joe Budden, Nicki Minaj. Like it was like a star-studded Cypher.
Right.
And boy, I watched that Cypher crying my eyes out, man, because I knew I was the best guy for the job. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to get on that Cypher one day.
Absolutely.
Fast forward to 2018. I get a call from my manager. We're having a show. And he's like, I got the Cypher. I'm like, no way. He's like, it's tomorrow. You have to fly to LA and get there. So now I'm writing. I'm putting together bars on the. I'm excited. You know, I'm not worried. I'm just, you know, I'm getting it done. We show up. The lady says, thank you so much for being a part of the digital Cypher. So I look at my guy and I say, did she just say digital? You know what I mean?
We ain't gonna be playing on TV.
I'm like, yeah, exactly, right? So this isn't even really the Cypher. So I'm looking, you know, I look at the lineup, no disrespect to anybody that was in that lineup, but it wasn't the look that I was looking for, especially as hard as I've been working.
Right.
So, you know, I went outside, I'm calling my manager. I'm like, yo, lucky I don't fire you right now, bro. Like, this is not the Cypher. This is not what we talked about. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
And then I stopped and I checked my own ego. And I said, you know what? The same people that film this Cypher have to film the real Cyphers. They have to film this Cypher. So they still have to see me. So now the goal is to make sure they're like, oh my God, next year we have to put this kid on TV.
Absolutely.
So my attitude changed. I said, God, thank you for putting me in the room. I'll take care of it from here.
Thank God you did that. And you were like, yo, fuck you. I'm going back.
Because I could have easily got negative. I could have been like, I'm not doing this. I'm out. Right. You know what I mean? Now that's where I checked myself and my own ego. So then I said, God, I'm being ungrateful. I'm in the room. They're going to see me. And we're going to make sure they know who I am before I leave.
Yeah.
We did one take of the digital Cypher. They stopped everything. I thought it was something I said again. So they stopped everything. They said, we need you to move. Get out the way. So I'm like,
what the hell?
Like, what's going on? Am I being cut? Like,
we need you to clock out, sir, real quick. They hit you with
qualified over a line, you know?
Right.
So now I'm like, they just don't like anything I have to say. Like, it just is what it is. So I'm standing aside. They're like, yo, your performance is so strong. We want to bump you to a TV Cypher right now.
Let's go.
So
let's go.
Let's get it, right? So once I got moved and bumped to a TV Cypher, when it was time to film the TV Cyphers, the room changed. And more important people came in. You know, the stars started coming in. So the Netflix people were actually in the room for that Cypher and saw me and approached me after the Cypher and asked me if I wanted to audition for Rhythm and Flow. So not getting the Cypher in 2010 and being disqualified was because God knew that in 2018,
that was your moment.
That was and not only that moment, but that was the moment for me to have the Netflix moment because they were that's where they discovered me.
Right.
So crazy way of the way that it kind of worked out. But you know, they're gonna see it in the movie, man. You know, it's
the movie.
It's gonna be a good movie, man. You know, it's gonna be a good movie.
Oh, you got a movie dropping?
No, I don't. I have a documentary dropping, but I'm just saying when it's time and the movie comes out,
that's a moment.
The stuff you can't make up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
so it's dope.
In your journey, there's like so many of these moments, turning those no's into yeses, coming back around and being able to say that no is this yes. And, you know, being able to humble yourself from being like, yo, I just flew out here for this shit to being like, yo, you're here, you know, take what you got. I don't know what this could turn into, but it turned into something amazing, you know?
Amazing.
I want to get into the other Cypher, but let's go in order. First, I just want to say how proud I am coming from Providence, Rhode Island. I watched, Rhythm and Flow when it aired. I watched it all over again once I locked in the interview. And each time, I might have got a little soft, you know what I'm saying? I might have like, some tears in my eyes because, you know, coming from where we come from, especially from our community where, you know, we've been doing this for so long. You know, we all want to, you know, hit that level of exposure, you know, just to see how long we've all been doing it, the grind, and to see that after the grind, somebody finally made it. Someone was finally up there killing it. Your articulation, the way that you presented your journey, it was, you know, it was such a good reflection of where we come from, your journey, where you're going, you know, just to see your family there. You know, I went to school with Kim way back in the day, just
she told me she was excited
to see all of this. Like, I'm like, damn, this is just so good. This is too good. So I'm so proud of you, man. I am so proud of you. And you know, that moment is amazing. A few questions about this. Has Beans reached out and asked for that round 2 after the show? Because you know what, like, that was a good head-to-head, and you know, those verses and you know, the content coming out of those, you know, first 2, 3, 4, like the whole season was dope, but those first 2, 3, 4 episodes where you really had to get in there, that was a dope head-to-head.
It was like the Hunger Games for hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just don't. It wasn't that any of the challenges were hard. It was that the time frames between challenges were just exhausting, mentally exhausting. Having to film all day and then getting to your hotel room at 1 a.m. with a 7 a.m. hotel call. We're not working on our challenges until that 1 a.m. when we get home, back to the hotel. So it was like overnight working, trying to memorize and perform in front of thousands of people the very next day. It was a lot of mentally challenging things that we had to go through and endure. But Beans hasn't hit me up.
She don't want that smoke.
No. I actually see a lot of people asking for another round, but it's crazy because for me, you know, being in the competition and having to do that, you know, I believe that me and Beans could make some incredible music together. So, you know, she has some great music. Like, she's a really dope artist as well. So, you know, I think once we get together and kind of do that, people will get off the battle a little bit. But I know it was such a great moment in time, you know, and during the season. So, you know I can expect people are going to definitely want to see it, you know.
Definitely. I feel like you were one of the contenders from the beginning. Everybody's like, all right, he's been doing this for a while. T.I. knew you from the Cyphers. You know, and she was nice too. So when they made that switch, you know, I was like, Flawless got this. He got this. Then they made the switch and I'm like, oh shit. You know, they both coming from the street with that flow, and you know, and I feel like that's how it has to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was such an epic battle in comparison to, like, I don't know who you were supposed to go against, but you know, there was contenders and there weren't contenders.
It was supposed to happen that way,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The fans want that Jhené Aiko Stay Ready remix. Is it ever gonna happen? Is it ever gonna drop? I know there's like terms and conditions, you feel me? Is that ever gonna happen? You did an excellent job because Kendrick Lamar's verse is nasty. It's like a classic. And what's one thing that that you know you were surprised to learn about Jhené Aiko in that process?
When I got the opportunity to work with Jhené, I knew that I was ready and prepared for something of that magnitude. I wanted to be more than prepared. And even that's just one example too. Like, we were filming all day and me and Smoke, we were more of the polished that like been around for a while. We're like, yo, like you can't expect us to go rehearse in the morning with these artists. We haven't even wrote our verses yet. Like we have to memorize and write. You guys have us filming out too late. So like we had to like take a stance because, you know, the lady's like, oh, you don't have to memorize. You're just rehearsing with the band tomorrow. Now, this is the type of stuff that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Me being who I am, I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't believe nothing they're saying. I don't care what they say. Right. I'm going to be prepared.
Absolutely.
So we get back. Me and Smoke might have forced the early ending that night where we got home at about 11 or something. I literally wrote the verse so tired, bro. Like, I'm so tired. I'll never forget this moment. I was so tired. I'm trying to memorize. I'm falling asleep. I'm waking up 4 in the morning, like reading bars. And then 7 o'clock comes, I'm trying to rehearse in the morning, and I'm like getting my verse together. I go into rehearse with the band. I run the record once. Jhené walks in the second time. She's like, hey, can't wait to hear it. Now, mind you, if I had listened to this lady, this producer who just told me I wasn't rehearsing with Jhené, and I don't memorize the verse because I'm tired, I'm like, I'm just going to get some rest. I already got it written down. I'll learn it tomorrow. You know, now I look like a fool in front of this girl. So, you know, being able to be prepared, when she came in and she saw how prepared I was, she got into it. She said, oh, okay. I'm like, hey, I'm going to say this here. If you could say this back. She's like, no
Yeah.
problem. I'm like, word. So we building that chemistry, you know, and that was an amazing thing to be a part of, to be able to kind of see the fans be like, we want this version out. Unfortunately, Netflix did not grant us the clearance, or the label did not grant Netflix the clearance
Right.
to put that record out. But
is there another one coming in the future? Is there one on the album?
But there's a big but.
A big but. That's it.
That's all I'm gonna say.
We like big butts, you know. I think you said when we said butts,
like
you said
big butts,
boobs.
and I cannot lie for sure.
Janae Aiko.
I am a boob guy. I am a boob guy.
Janae Aiko.
Janae Aiko.
Collaboration may be coming soon, but
maybe. You know.
Oh man. What's something that surprised you about it?
And it might be so dope, you might not even remember what happened. Like you might be like, oh yeah, they didn't put that record out, but listen to this. You know, so we'll see what happens.
What's one thing that surprised you about her, real quick?
Her, I think I intimidated her.
Okay, you weren't expecting that.
No, I think I'm just so much in my own zone, in my own world, in my own confidence, that I was like, oh, I shook her up a little bit. Like I didn't know.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
It's supposed to be the other way around. But it's just a testament to our readiness, our preparation, you know, and our professionalism, man. That's just that. It really is a testament to that, you know.
Definitely. You got a tattoo with the final 4 contestants. Could you show it off real quick? What's up?
That
tattoo.
This is the greater than and lesser than symbol. There's 4 of them. So it stands for the final 4, but it also is the greater than and lesser than symbol, because it just signifies that anything in front of us, we're always going to be greater than. And that it was just a great thing to be a part of with the other 3. And we all decided to get this as a symbolism of never forgetting the journey, because it was so mentally challenging, and it felt like we were out there for a year. Like it really did. The show was about 2 months,
right?
But it felt like a year. So when we were wrapping it up, you know, we was like, we need something to memorize this experience, because we're all going to go in different directions. We're all going to have our own careers. I want to be able to see you guys at the red carpet and at the Grammys 5 years from now and be like,
here we are.
You know what I mean? Like this will always keep us connected no matter where we go, no matter where our journeys take us. So I'm appreciative of having to build that relationship with those other 3.
I know that they were on the tape Every Second Matters. How's your relationship with them now? Because I know, you know, this Rhythm and Flow First, you guys are the originals. Y'all are like the Clay Aikens and Kelly Clarksons of American Idol.
But
hip-hop, you set the tone. So y'all are the originals. How's your relationship now, 2 years after, you know, the filming? Are you guys still in touch? Are you guys branching off? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, everybody's still in touch. Like I said, we're all our own individual artists, so we're doing our own things. But everybody's, you know, doing the same thing, like keeping in touch. We have a group chat we always come in on and just check in on everybody. You know, London's my sis. I'm always checking in on her. Troy Man doing his thing. He's about to drop a gang of music. And Smoke, you know, me and him are mad tight, man. And of course, I'm still tight with Caleb and like other people outside of the Final 4 as well. Yeah. That like, you know, I would say like top 6 or 7. Definitely we have a close-knit relationship.
Definitely. So I'm pretty sure this moment happened so quickly, from the stress, from just being, when you're on these like on these sets, everything's moving quickly, there's so many people, y'all are in the mix, stress the fuck out, trying to like literally
make it through another day.
Literally trying to like capture a whole hip-hop career, from like Cyphers to, you know, big Grammy performance in 2 months while the cameras are going. The stress, all of this happens, then boom, it's over. You get the silence, it drops. What happens in this moment? What was the feeling after, you know, the noise was over? You go back home, or you stay in LA, you're waiting for the show to drop. What was that transition like right there?
It was torture. When the show was over, knowing that I made it to the finale and down to the final 2, and knowing the performance that I had done for the finale, why I chose to go in the direction I did, it was like, I cannot wait. We had to wait like 7-8 months, and then we couldn't really do much. Right. So that was different.
Contractually, you guys have to lay low.
Yes. So now I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, I only know how to grind. I only know how to tour. I only know how to do this. So like, I have
Mhm.
to literally sit here and wait for the show to come out and like, you guys will see me soon. Like, you know, so it was torture. It was torture. But the moment that it came out, it was worth every minute of it. I think that Netflix was still trying to figure out how to release episodes. I feel like it should have been stretched out a little bit more because it
Mhm.
was dropped over 3 weeks. I think it
Right.
would have been cool to drop a few episodes, like the auditions, then drop like a batch of 3, and then make like the last 3 like their own
Mhm.
individual weeks, just to build anticipation around it. But we were the first, so you know
Right.
what I mean. The second time around, I'm sure will be much smoother. And yeah, I'm just grateful, man. It's on Netflix, so it stays up there, and people are discovering it every day. I'm getting messages every single day. People are
Mm.
like, "I hope you win." I'm
Right.
like,
Uh, uh,
"Keep watching."
Keep on watching. It's up there. It's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But you are definitely a winner. I mean, that was life changing. I know that the door is open. So many opportunities. You were supposed to go on a world tour in 2020. But then
Yes.
COVID happened, which is like, damn, I've been working for about 15 years. I finally like make that international debut, and then boom,
The world
another
ends.
no.
I'm like,
Another
yo,
no.
crazy. We were gonna do a tour with the Final Four from the
Uh-huh.
show, but that didn't end up working out because of everybody's scheduling. Everybody's just like really getting into their own things.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to just I signed with WME, who's the biggest talent agency in the world. I got my own management, and then I just booked the world tour. We got Australia, New Zealand, Canada. We were gonna go everywhere, and then COVID hit. So we're adjusting now with the times. The tour is postponed as of right now,
Okay.
but it doesn't mean we're not going to be able to hit it soon. So I'm still looking forward to that world tour for sure.
That tour's gonna be lit. Let me tell you, last night when I was watching that last episode, because me, I love every aspect of like, um, you know, rap, just like, ciphers, spitting, lyricism, everything over to like production level, seeing you
Mm-hmm.
guys blow out those like crazy stages. Man, I was hyped in my living room watching every single performance. So I know that world tour is going to be super popping. Hopefully 2021, maybe 2022. We'll see. But, you get another no. That turns into another yes. You didn't get the $250,000, but you solidified your own 6-figure deal with LIVIT, right?
More than 250.
More than two. Ooh,
Multi six
Mo,
figure. Don't forget
multi
the
six
multi.
figure, multi
Six
six
figures sound
figure.
like it's
Woo!
100. You know what I mean? Multi,
Okay,
baby.
he made that clear. Like, no, not like 100,000. We're getting more than 250,000, which is amazing. You feel me? Once again, you get the no, turns into a bigger and better yes. Why live it? Why right now? Why does it make sense to hop on this? There's so many streaming platforms that are coming out right now. You have Fox Soul, they're doing stuff over there. Sirius XM. Why live it? Why does this make sense other than this big paycheck?
Yeah. Global is a live streaming, Livit is a global live streaming platform. And they have 100 million users in Japan and Asia. And the reason why Livit was the perfect partner was because I needed, with COVID, with the world tour being canceled, I needed somewhere where I can connect with my fans and keep that connection with my fans. But I wanted to still use my platform for good while maintaining a safe distance from everybody and keeping the
Right.
COVID guidelines and stuff like that. We talked to a lot of streaming platforms. And one of the main things that I wanted some of the proceeds to go to food banks, toy drives. As a label, Team Rise, we donate every single year. It's tradition for us to be a
Right.
part of those kind of things. But I needed to be on a grander scale.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a company that was going to partner up with me, not only see my vision, but match my vision and
Right.
match those donations that I make. And Live It just came in with a plan that was solidified, and they saw my vision. They saw what I wanted to do with the donations. They were willing to match the donations. They were willing to put money into marketing. They
Right.
were willing to really just make it a platform that we really need. And for me, with Instagram and with other social media platforms, there's an algorithm. And it's frustrating for creatives like myself who post something to our followers. I have almost 800,000 followers, and then only 10,000 of those followers see the post because of an algorithm.
Yeah.
So with the algorithm with live streaming, I wanted to make sure that I had maximum visibility, maximum engagement, maximum, exposure, to be able to garnish as much money as we can for these charities and for these children. Um, and LIVIT promised me that. So we're not only going to bring them a more hip hop feel and charitable donations and actual great content, but they're going to expose me to that 100 million user market in Japan and Asia,
Yeah.
which is going to expand our visibility and expand everything that we're doing. So I think it's a great partnership. They're going to provide for us, we're going to provide for them, we're going to deliver great content starting November 13th,
Yep.
which is only a week away.
Next
We're
Friday.
going to be doing our first interactive live concert where the fans are going to be able to interact with me during the concert, and it's only going to be available on LIVIT. I went live last night. We did a live studio session. I created a song live on LIVIT in front of the fans, recorded, created the song right there on the spot. This is stuff that we're only offering on LIVIT, and it's going to be that exclusive connection with the fans.
It's like the Flawless Real Talk show. You guys are going live 3 times a week.
Yes.
3 times a week, and we're getting all types of content. We're getting live performances. We're getting maybe like interviews. Maybe we're getting music videos. Like, what kind of content could we expect? Obviously, we're gonna get the performances, but what's something that like is on the radar that's really, really going to captivate people that are first-time users of LIVIT?
Absolutely. Well, the in studio sessions is one of them. Fans got a sneak peek of a new song that I'm putting out in the next couple of weeks before anybody else. So they were able to hear the song, see me record the song, see me talk about the process of the song. We're going to be having a weekly hip hop show. We're going to be reviewing music. We're going to be having talent shows for streamers themselves can come in and showcase their talent and maybe garnish their own fan base and become streamers themselves.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of different things. And then once the world opens up, it becomes a reality show. We're just going to open up our behind the scenes and day-to-day operations to the people on LIVIT that are watching. So it's just going to be an in-depth. This is really going to be for the fans that are interested in this kind of content.
And it's all going to align. Perfect timing.
That's
You feel me? It's going to align with this album that you got on the back burner. Apparently it's stacked. It's ready to go. Before we get to that, last month's BET Hip Hop Cypher, so you're there again. This year, it's a political one. And I remember when Eminem, I think it was maybe 4 years ago, Eminem, he delivered a real hard-hitting verse that really made an impact. And I think that this time around, that was you, alongside Jack Harlow and Rhapsody. So how does that feel? You know what I'm saying? To not only be part of the hip hop cypher, but to really make an impact on a political level where, during 2020.
Yeah. It just really solidifies my hard work. Being the only independent artist in that cypher, everybody on there is a XXL freshman. Everybody on there signed. And here I am, just independent, flawless, in between Jack Harlow and Rhapsody, who just won Lyricist of the Year. Here I am.
So your eyes are on that? Your eyes are on Lyricist of the Year?
Yeah, my eyes are on that. But being independent, it's tougher to get to that role because, politics.
Not impossible, though. Not impossible.
Not impossible. Definitely tougher, but not impossible. But yeah, it just really is a testament to my hard work, being able to be there in that moment and being chosen to speak and represent the culture in that moment was like, I cannot play around. Like, I have to, and this was even tougher than the first cypher because I had already touched on the social injustices. I did the Baby Rockstar remix. It went viral. We had millions of views on that. I did a single called What a Time, speaking on social injustice. The U.S. doesn't stand for us. I'm talking about, everything. And I'm like, I kind of already spoke my piece on this, but this is BET.
This is a whole, like, so many people are going to
I got to dig deeper. I got to dig even deeper. So that's what I did. I sat down, I dug deep, and I'm so grateful, man, for the opportunity and for the platform and to deliver the message that we did and for people to get it and for people to see that it was levels above other messages. And I was just like, yes, they're starting to get it. And not altering, not switching my style, never faltering, you know what I mean? And like in staying true to myself and being here in this moment and people being like, wow, it's like, yes, I did the right thing. I stayed true to myself. I'm so proud of the journey. so proud of our team, you know.
I'd rather be broke than broken. Ain't that
That's
right?
it. Yeah,
Right?
man.
Facts.
That's it.
All right, so we're still here. Wait, we're sitting here waiting for the votes to be counted. How are you feeling? Like, are you watching this? Do you got the TV shut off? Me, I'm coping with food, tequila, that puff puff pass. It's in rotation. You know me. Then I shut the TV off, and I'm back at it. Well, what are you doing during this time? What's your thoughts?
To be honest, it was a little overwhelming. Like the first night, this is the first time I'm so engaged in politics and the election that I thought a winner was going to be announced Thursday. So I'm like doing nothing. I'm watching it. And then I'm like, wait. So wait, there's no like parade. Like there's no speech tonight. Like we don't know who's going to win. Like, oh, this is a process. So I immediately after that first night, I was like, okay, you know what? I can't engulf in this because it's going to literally overwhelm me and give me anxiety to the point where I'm not going to be able to work on anything. So I'm trying to stay until the news breaks that somebody has officially won. And then when that time comes, I'll address it, you know?
Same here. I have the overnight show here in Seattle. So I'm like staying up that whole night. Like,
oh, the TV's on.
I gotta break this. I gotta break this news. And then it hits 5, 6 a.m. when my show ends. And I'm like, shit, I stayed up and didn't break any news. And that happened twice. So now I'm on the same boat. I'm like, I'm gonna shut this off and puff, puff, pass. And keep it at that.
I feel that.
Rhode Island dropped Providence Plantations. Finally, they dropped the damn name. Thoughts?
When I seen that on the ballot, bro, I was like, it's just coming full circle, man. Just coming
finally. Come on now. Finally.
I was very, very happy. State of Rhode Island now, baby.
I was looking at my my diploma. It says Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. I'm like, yo, my diploma's history now.
You didn't even realize that, right? So you think, wait a minute, hold on.
No, someone
says that on my diploma.
Someone from here was at my crib looking at, like, in my office looking at the diploma, and they're like, why does it say Providence Plantations? That's someone not from Rhode Island. And I'm like, oh shit. This was just like probably in the summer. I'm like, oh shit. Let me give you the story. Man. Let me give you a story. So,
you know, write them and say, need a new degree.
Right.
Please.
Rhode Island. I don't know how I feel about it because, like, one part of me is like, you know, that's fucked up. That says Providence Plantations on here. But then the other part of me is like, that's part of history. And I feel like somehow me getting this degree that says Providence Plantations speaks volumes on like how far our community.
That's true. That is true.
So I'm like torn between the two.
I know it might be. It's like a flex.
Yeah.
But it's
like a stinky. It's like, no. Yo, a couple more questions. We're getting ready for the follow-up album. It's stacked. Maybe we have Janae Aiko on there, but we don't know yet. What could you tell us about the project? Give me some details. You know what I'm saying? It's ready. So why aren't we dropping it?
Well, we can't tour it.
Okay.
That's why a lot of artists push their albums back. If you didn't notice, Drake was ready to go. You know, a lot of people were ready to go.
Ready to go.
Then they pump the brakes. When you have artists like myself that rely on touring, you know, me being independent, I don't rely on touring as much as Drake. And Drake canceled his album for now. You know, but Drake doesn't rely on touring as much as me. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Because Drake sells millions and streams millions of albums. Me, 80% of our income independently comes from touring.
Right.
So, you know, not being able to tour and new music, it just kind of like, by the time we're ready to tour, we're going to need a new album. So like, it's like, we don't know when the world's going to open up. If it opens up in March and I put the album out right now, by the time March comes, that music is old.
When are we going to hit the point where it's like, all right, shit isn't opening up? Because a lot of artists had to do this. They're like, the timing is here. I got the album, but, you know, COVID, you know, a lot of great albums have, you know, hit this year.
They have.
You know?
They just started dropping, though.
What? Well, you know,
notice artists are
Pop Smoke, but Pop Smoke was like a little different. He passed, and like that was a little
Big
different.
Sean is an example. Big Sean was going to drop March.
Okay.
And then 7 months later, he's like, oh, fuck this shit, I'm dropping. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's about the patience.
You know that. You know perfect timing.
With me, if I'm doing absolutely nothing and I'm stagnant, it's like, oh, I need to drop the album. But when you're doing BT and partnering with LIVIT and I have 5 other things that are going to come before the album that are going to keep us in momentum. you know, and I'm trying to release singles now. I'm trying to even be in the studio. Like the single I made yesterday live on LIVIT, we're going to drop that in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, continuous to trying to give at least something, but it's
Album's too
some of the
fire
stuff,
to drop it right now.
some of the stuff is just too monumental to not be able to tour it. So
We getting some collaborations, major collaborations.
maybe.
Ah, come on. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Man.
I feel
That's
it. I feel it. You know what I'm saying? If you need to send the album to somebody, you know, to
I needed a review to something. You know what I mean? I might need a review. You know,
a little just like feedback. You can always send it over to me. I won't tell.
But also the advantage too right now is allowing us to constantly improve it.
Right.
Like right now, like if I were to put it out 3 months ago, it wouldn't even have some of the records I'm thinking about right now. Like, and I'm like, that was crazy to even think about. To even drop the album.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I seen your process on Rhythm and Flow, just a little piece of it, what they wanted to show, and you're very particular with your art. You feel me? Even working with like, who did you get to work with? What producer was it? That the major producer that you worked with?
Hit Boy.
Even with Hit Boy, you were like, okay, this is this right here, this right there. You know what I'm saying? So is that a good thing to sit on an album that's ready and like keep on playing with it? Or is there a point where you're going to be like, I need to just like stop?
No, it definitely does in that sense. But in a sense of scheduling, right? Some people that we might have reached out to for a feature couldn't get it done in the time frame that we needed them to. But then COVID hits and now it's like, hey, we've got months if you can get this done still. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, hey, I'm actually home doing nothing during COVID. Let me get this record done for you. And it's like, oh, easy. Waiting now gave some people time to actually do what we needed them to do. So now the album's that much better. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not really about changing records. It's about opportunities that couldn't come in time that now have extended time periods.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the good thing.
Okay. Couple more questions before we go. How, like, just based off of that, was this competition like, does it solidify your spot in the industry? Because, you know, when it comes to like reality TV and things like that, it kind of makes you kind of gimmicky and you have to break that reality TV show. But it sounds like you have connections and you really have those genuine connections with the people you were on the show with. Even like the big names that were on the show, you still have that connection with them. Is that all the way through? Because I also noticed that you said that people hit you up in your DMs, but they don't support you in public. You feel me? So how has those relationships that formed based off of Rhythm and Flow, like really, really, I don't know, came together?
I think it's the after effect. I think when you see somebody on a reality show and then they take their career and take it into their own hands, you know, you look at somebody like D Smoke. Mm-hmm. He was really a low-key artist prior to, you know, his brother was signed to TDE. He was writing songwriting music for other industry artists. He was doing a lot of things behind the scenes. So he wasn't constantly putting out music. He didn't have a lot of music out. So he got out, and after the show, he took a deal. Boom. You know what I mean? Which is great in his situation. And he just started going, boom, dropped an album, did this. Like he's continuously moving. Like me and him right now are on a university tour right now.
Okay. Now. Oh, virtual. Okay.
Virtual university tour right now. Like me and D Smoke, we're doing universities like every other night. Shout out to D Smoke, man. Huh?
Is it lit?
It's going great. We're litty, man.
It's different. I mean, the digital, it's just like it's a new wave. You feel me? We're all getting used to it.
It's the new wave. But yeah, so, you know, for us to, I think the main thing is the after the show. So when I finished the show and I continued on and people became fans of me and then saw, oh, he's already been building. Oh, he's been on tour. Oh, he's done this. He has, you know, this, and this many listeners, this before the show even airs. Yeah. Oh, okay. So he's been at it. You know, so that's they take you a different type of seriousness.
Right.
Opposed to you did the show and now you're just waiting for it to air and hoping that it does something for you. And then a year's gone by and then now you can see who was on the show and who's was able to maintain and who's like just lost. You know what I
Right,
mean?
definitely. And because you and D Smoke have like you guys been doing this for such a long time. You went to the competition season ready to go. So, the aftermath of that shows as well. Um, Two more questions. If you had the opportunity to talk to young Flawless that just touched down in ATL, that first day that left Rhode
Ooh.
Island and was like, we gonna make it. We moving down to ATL. I'm gonna do this music thing. What's one thing you would tell that Flawless that now that you didn't know then? And then we're going to flip it the other way. If you had a chance to ask Flawless in 2025, 2030, one question, what would it be?
I think I would tell the young Floor landing in Atlanta that nobody is your friend.
Mm,
I think I put my trust in the wrong people at a certain time when things started going good,
right.
and I was taken advantage of, and a lot of money was taken from me, and it could have really made or broke me in that time frame. Good thing I was mentally stronger, but I was definitely taken advantage of down there. Once I got momentum and I started making actual money,
Mm-hmm.
I figured out that I needed to manage a lot more than just the music,
Yeah.
and I became more of a businessman in that moment. That I was definitely, I wanted to hire people that I could trust to do things, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was just like, oh, okay, so I'm literally gonna have to do all this
Right.
myself because I can't trust anybody, like for real. And the what I would ask Floor 20 years from now.
Where do you see Flawless in 20 years from now? What's your vision of a 20 years? Is it like,
You
what's
know
that
what's
vision like?
crazy? I don't know. Um, because early in my career, I was like, I need a deal, I need a deal, I need a deal, I need to be on tour, I need to be this. It used to frustrate me during the process when things weren't going well,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like overwhelmed with how far and how much further I needed to go to get where I wanted to be. When I started thinking every single day mentality, what am I gonna do today to get me closer to that goal?
Right.
I immediately started progressing on levels I couldn't even tell you about. Like, the mentality changed from I need a deal, I need to make it, I need to have a mansion, I need to be famous,
Mm-hmm.
to what are we doing today, bro?
Right.
Today,
Today, right here, what
right
could we do right
now.
here, right now, without
So
the expectations too of like where you want to be, right?
yes, yes. What are we doing today? Okay, are we making music that we're gonna put out? Are we talking to the fans? Are we going on Instagram and like, trying to promote? Like, what are we doing today? Today that's
Yeah.
gonna get us to where you want to be instead of being frustrated about it. So like when I started that day-to-day mentality, it's hard to look into the future because I'm literally still in that day-to-day. And if I start trying to what I want to be, then I start chasing things that might not be the move for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it's what is good for us today.
Right
And
now.
then hopefully with this mentality in 20 years, I am somewhere amazing.
Yep.
You
Okay.
know?
Definitely. I mean, I always think like it's there's no way you put this time, this energy, this hard work into a product and I'm not gonna grow. There's no
Yeah.
way. I might fall
Yeah.
a couple of times, I might get those no's, but like as long as I keep that energy on like, the genuine day to day, I will make it to like, those expectations even further than what you expect. You feel
Yeah,
me?
exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
55 days left in 2012. What are the final thoughts? Final thoughts for your fans. 55 days, things that you want to accomplish professionally, personally. How could your fans support you in these last 55 days? The time's ticking.
The most beautiful thing is constantly streaming the music. Is always supporting us. We always need people to play the music on Spotify, even if it becomes a daily exercise. Like if you really just genuinely want to support me, play my song in the morning once, and then you don't have to play my music for the rest of the day. But
Right.
if you stream me once a day, you're doing your part in supporting me. The LIVIT platform, we're gonna be donating a lot through the LIVIT platform. I mean, we're
Yep.
really gonna be giving to charitable causes. We did a huge toy drive for the Hasbro Children's Hospital last year. I want to pull up in a Mack truck full of toys for my hospital. You know what I'm
Dope.
saying? So that's the goal. We're just going to push through to Christmas and make sure that these kids that can't be home for the holidays have an amazing Christmas. We're gonna have a good time on LIVIT while we're making this money for the for the charities. And I'm just looking forward to just staying safe. And 2021 is gonna be a much improved year. Hopefully, we have new rules, new office, new things going on,
Maybe we could
and
go outside,
maybe
interact with other
I actually
people.
think it's gonna be the opposite, bro.
Even worse.
I think if Biden wins, he's gonna lock everything down.
I think so too. I think so too.
If you don't notice, the other countries that were dealing with this before us, they're done. They're not even. They have no COVID. They're not wearing masks. They're not restricting. So we fucked up somewhere along the line here.
I don't say we. There's one person to blame. Only one person, and that's it.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't stay home either.
A lot of people don't wear their masks.
A lot of people did not stay home when it was mandated
Right.
in my city. A lot of people kept going out. I think we were released too early. I think if everybody would have just sat their ass down for 2 months and just really sat down, we would be done with this. We'd be watching sports. We'd be back. But, so I'm just looking forward to COVID being controlled and us being able to get back on the road. So let's start there for sure.
Let's start there. Yes. Once again, Flawless Real Talk.
Hey,
I am so proud of you, and I'm so glad that we finally were able to make this happen. You're going to have to take me out of those gents. You got to follow me back because I can't wait another 8 years to make a moment like this happen. You feel me?
No, we connected now, man. So we're going, every time I got something going on, I want to definitely sit down with you, brother.
Definitely. Please do. I'm so proud of you, Kim, the beautiful family. And I'm definitely flying out. I didn't get to talk to you about PVD Festival. You have big names on there. We'll see. I'm gonna fly out for that PVD performance, festival performance when it comes through.
I hope that me and the mayor can still revisit that idea for 2021 because
who was coming? Who was it? Give us a name.
I can't get no names because if it still happens, I want to make it it's supposed to be a surprise. You know what I mean? I had him.
I know Cardi loves Providence. Was Cardi coming?
Cardi loves Providence.
He loves Providence.
Come on. if come on. You know what I mean? But that's not even.
That's not even.
I had a great thing planned for the city. But it's all right. It's gonna be even. You know what? This didn't happen. Because it's gonna be even bigger next year, baby.
Bigger and better. And I'm gonna be there. I'm flying out immediately.
I'm bringing the Pope through. You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely there, man. Flawless Real Talk live premiere on LIVIT on November 13th, Friday. Yes, do we have a time?
Yes, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's completely free. All you have to do is download the app, follow Flawless RI, and you will see the live concert and enjoy it and be a part of history, man.
Hey, you already know. Thank you for linking up with me. And if you're ever in Seattle and COVID is done, hit me up. You got to come through.
I will, man. I've been in Seattle a bunch of times since 2012.
Oh, yes. You definitely got to come through when you're here. Hit me up. You already know. I'm in the city.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. You take care. Have a great one.
Much love, King. Appreciate you.
Peace.